Apologies for the delay in coming live. We had a bit of an audio issue. So hopefully you can see me and hear me. Please do let me know in the chat if you can see and hear me. That would be great. We're going to just make sure everybody gets in, and then we're going to kickstart the event. I'm going to show you some of the features and how you can use it as a sales tool. So looking forward to seeing you in a few minutes. So I know you've all been chatting in the chat. I put a few posts in just to reassure you that everything was all okay. But we are here and ready to roll. So thank you for joining us. So I'm just going to share my slides and talk to you a little bit about how you can use LinkedIn events to really help you with your sales pipeline, how you can engage more buyers and use LinkedIn events as that tool. And I'm just joining the chat myself on LinkedIn so I can see you all and say hi to everybody. So it's great to have you all here. So if you're not familiar with me, great. I'm Dean, the founder. I'm going to put some slides now and present the screen. Well, so if you're not familiar with who we are, or you've stumbled across this live, I've got some conversations I want to have with you. And I can see everybody's in the chat. Back to the future, yes. LinkedIn's literally updated the event feature in the last week or so with some new features, which makes a lot of technical softwares need up to date. And hi, Michelle. Hi, Anita. Hi, David. Hi, Steve. So there's a lot of you joining on YouTube as well. So that's great. So welcome on YouTube. I think some on Facebook. So there's people everywhere. So that's great to have you all here today. So if you're not familiar with the LinkedIn event feature, it's been around now for about 18 months. And it's a great tool for engagement. As you can see, the chat's really lively. It's really animated in the chat, which is good. I'm just going to move the mic because a few people, the audio is a little bit itchy, but that may well stream. So LinkedIn events, really cool tool and great for building relationships. So here we go. So what I'm going to talk to you about today, I'm going to share my screen and away we go. So if you've not met me before, I'm Dean. I'm the founder of MAVERRIK, and I founded MAVERRIK 10 years ago. 10 years ago this year, and LinkedIn was a very different place this time 10 years ago. It was real strange things going on with the audio, apparently. The audio is dropping in and out. So it's a really strange place, very different to how it was. And we've built our business helping people build their business on LinkedIn, whether they're salespeople, whether they're business owners, whether they're big corporates. That's what we've been doing. So we are, let me just try and check some stuff with the audio. So just bear with us a second. We've been doing events like this, albeit there's some real weird glitching going on today. I'm just going to check this. We are, let me just try and, yeah, it seems to be working fine now. So we started doing LinkedIn events in this way. We started doing events in this way primarily because it was an easy way to engage people during the pandemic. And as we did more and more of these events, we started to see that people really engaged with them. So I'm not sure what the Dan, yes, it is working now. There was some issue with the stream and bit rate, but it does seem to be working now. Yes. So the events feature on LinkedIn is very powerful. Not the most straightforward thing to do, as we've just experienced. But I want to just walk you through what we're going to cover today so that you can have a look at this, understand the benefits of it, and very lively chat today, by the way. help you understand what it is, how you can use it, and how it can help you in selling. So, that's what we're gonna do. This is the run through, and basically I've divided this section, this kind of 40, 50 minutes of chat here into 3 sections. So section number 1 is just an intro of why is it so difficult to sell right now? How do we overcome this challenge? How does LinkedIn events overcome this challenge? Then I'm gonna explain some of the event features and how you use them for sales. And then I'm gonna show you some practical stuff. Jade, good question. I'm gonna deal with the Q&A at the end, and just because there are some people are experiencing an audio issue on the stream, if you make a note of the email address on screen, if you want to replay, because we're recording the session at the same time, please drop us an email and ask for the replay, and we'll send it to you. So, if there's anything that's glitching, please do drop us an email, and we'll send you the details. So this is the 3 sections we're gonna do. Purpose of the webinar, right? I'm just gonna tell you how it works. We do these webinars to educate people, build our brand. A lot of people watching this will refer us to other people or recommend us to other people. We wanna build our own engagement, so all LinkedIn events is what we're doing. So what we're preaching. So it's about educating, it's about build brand, it's about referral and recommendations, it's about growing engagement, and you wanna win some business. We do this because some people watching this will say, "Do you know what? Maverick can help us." And they'll drop us a line, they'll ask for help, they'll come and DM me, or they'll reach out to our team. And if you wanna do this, we can help you fill the events. That's what we do. We help people fill events, as well as benefit from sales process engineering on LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, all that stuff. So that's why we do this. So it's you leave equipped and excited about the potential of things you can do, but we build our brand and generate some business, hopefully. So if you like a copy of the slides or a replay, just email us. I'll put the email on screen, and we're gonna start in a second. It sounds like the audio seems to be sorting out, but please email us, and the email's on screen, guys. Send an email to us, please. Don't put your email address, you'll get scraped by questionable lead gen companies. So don't just drop us an email. So send us an email. You email us. Yeah, email us. So if you like a copy of the slides or replay video, please send an email to hi@maverick.io. Cool. Right. So why is it so difficult to sell and market in this current environment? It seems like it's been difficult, and it's almost like during the pandemic, it was tough, but it and then we came out of the pandemic, it started to feel good again, and it started to feel really, really tough again. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. Um, most it's been a real tough environment at the start of the year. But here's the stat, and we did a study on this. We asked a load of people to give us their opinion, different channels, different platforms, and we found that a lot of senior level decision makers were getting more than 5 sales outreaches per day. Per day. Now that was across phone, email, LinkedIn messages. It was a mix, but 5 per day, right? So if you scale that up, that's 100 sales outreaches per month for your decision makers. What does that mean? Well, it's actually resulted in the response rate for any form of outreach has fallen by 30%. So HubSpot, all these other big platforms that help you automate emails, the big ones are saying, we've got to be smarter, guys. We've got to be smarter. It's fallen by 30%. So you're sending more to get less. So this is a massive issue, and we've got to do something about it. So outreach response rates have fallen, and what I'm going to show you today is how using a LinkedIn event can actually accelerate the process. The other thing that's happened as well is decision makers are reluctant to talk to people about what they're doing in business now and about their needs. They're waiting for things to develop. So what they're doing is they're holding out and only talking to people. They're doing more research than they've ever done before, and they're not actually contacting and talking to people. Oh, I can see some familiar faces in the chat. So, uh, hello, Drew. Hello, Linda. I can't quite see you because the screen's suddenly gone a bit darker on my side here, which is a bit strange, but the techies will probably have a look at it. So we are seeing decision makers actually struggling and deciding not to engage with buyers. So and probably my battery, just bear with me. So what we're seeing is that decision makers just don't want to talk. So we have to find a way to engage. We have to find a way to engage with them in person, and get them to be responsive, get them into conversation. And so, as I'm talking to you today, I want to share with you how events can do it. Hi, Yen. Hi, Sabine. Hi, Linda. Hi, Daniel. Hopefully you can see me on the camera. Can you see everybody see me here? We've got yes, perfect, perfect. I can see everybody here. Perfect. Brilliant. So the key thing we've got to do is we don't need thousands of leads. We just need the right. But the problem is because so many people are responsive, we've resorted to big activities to try and drive leads, and it's kind of not working. It's kind of not helping and delivering results. Perfect. Yen, you can see me. Just wanted to check that the camera is all okay, and everybody can see me. So brill. So the noise is bad, right? Let's just be honest. The noise is bad. You look at your own inbox. You look at your own LinkedIn messages. You look at your phone. You're getting tons of stuff. It's making people retreat. So you've got to find a way to engage buyers and get their attention and cut through all of that noise so that we can actually have some decent conversations with people we can help, we can sell our solution into. So this is what everybody's doing. So hopefully you can see this on screen, and everybody's doing the same thing. Pretty much connect and try and convert people. What do I mean by this? You look at your own LinkedIn, you'll get a connection request from somebody, and within minutes, you get a pitch. You look at your email address, your email account, people are pitching straight away. There's no attempt to build any relationship, and so we're just ignoring everything. This is what the people are doing. And so when they realize that people don't respond the first time, they follow up again and they follow up again and follow up again. And it further makes the problem worse. It becomes more difficult. And so we have some issues. So how do we do it differently? Well, there's other people doing this, right? This is another problem, and it's particularly a problem for salespeople. It's particularly a problem for small business owners or solopreneurs. Is people are saying, create valuable content, and that will bring leads to you. For the vast majority of people, they don't have the time. They don't have the time to build up a large following. They have a sales target. They have a budget to meet. They have all of these things going on. And so we see people going, actually, this is not going to work in this way. It's not going to work. And so they put themselves through the cosh of trying to basically create more and more content to fill their pipeline and hoping that eventually it'll convert to leads. It's just not predictable. It's just not predictable. Hi, Todd. Hi, Beda. Hi, Heather. So this just does not work. It does not function. And so we're going to end up in a position whereby we're chasing our tails. I am going to show you some stuff in a second. I just want to make sure that we're all clear on the same page here and make sure we're all talking about the same stuff. So I'm going to get into the depth of it first. I just want everybody on the same page. And I'm just wondering if my techie can help me a little bit. with my camera because there's a little sign on the camera, and it looks like one of the wires is loose a little. Um, so, right. So, what I'm going to show you, what I'm going to talk about here, is that what we need to do, and this is where LinkedIn events can become really useful, is about using content in a LinkedIn event to engage a buyer. Why? Why would you want to do that? I'm going to show you. If your decision makers show up for a LinkedIn event, if they engage with a piece of content, they are 3 times more open and able and willing to book a call with you. Whether you're a salesperson, solopreneur, does not matter. So if they get a piece of content that is useful to them and valuable to them, they will actually engage. And even now, there was a state of sales report by LinkedIn, and the vast majority of decision makers in that report said events were key to helping them engage with businesses, whether that be online or in person. Now, of course, with online, like LinkedIn events, it's great because you can do it really quick and easy, and it's not a big cost. Whereas, a trade show and all that kind of stuff, you have to plan them way ahead of time, 6 months ahead of time. You can do a LinkedIn event, and I'm going to make the case for why you should do LinkedIn events shortly. So, but what we know is if a decision maker between, if a decision maker engages with you on an event, online event, and I'm going to make the case for LinkedIn, they are more likely when you follow up to engage with you in a more positive way. They're more likely to respond. They're more likely to entertain a call. That's why we do LinkedIn events. So let's look at the LinkedIn events themselves. So what is a LinkedIn event? Well, it's a brand new feature, but it's a one-click sign-up event. So if you do it on your company page or your profile, it's a one-click event. And I'm going to show you on LinkedIn how it works in a second. So formats, there's different formats you can use. In person, off platform, LinkedIn Live, audio event. Now, why does this matter? Which platform, which way should you do it? Well, number one, here's something. A in-person event, obviously, I've done in-person events, and I do in-person events, and I fill them to LinkedIn. The show-up rate is tricky because things that are easy to come to, people tend to drop out, but we're getting about 40% show-up rate on an in-person event from a LinkedIn event. So creating a LinkedIn event with an address in it, and you can get people to come to your workshop or what have you, or seminar. And it's a great way to engage people because people hearing and getting value raises your credibility, increases your impact, and obviously helps create conversation. So the top of the tree in terms of LinkedIn events is in person. They're obviously more costly to do, but they're top of the tree in terms of sales success. Second to that is actually, believe it or not, despite us having so many tricky bits with it today, but I will confess, LinkedIn literally updated this a week or so ago, so the platforms are struggling a little bit upstream. So LinkedIn Live is really good for a higher show-up rate because people can dip in and dip out, and they can come in whenever they like. So this one today, obviously, we've sent people reminder emails where they can join on YouTube or they can join on LinkedIn. So we have split where the audience is joining from, but the show-up rate will be very, very high because people will watch at their own pace. So some people will join at half an hour in, some people will join an hour after, but you have a much higher show-up rate. Audio events, relatively new, quite popular. There's a little bit of novelty around them at the moment, but they're also really good for engaging people. And obviously, it's a little bit more relaxed environment, audio events. So an audio event is also a good move. Now, before I talk about all the different mechanics to it, and I'm gonna share my LinkedIn to show you. Thing I wanna talk about with off-platform. Off-platform has the worst show-up rate of any, for 2 reasons. Number 1, you have to go to a link. That's number 1. So you have to go to a link. But here's the bit that's more scary. If you're using like Teams or Zoom or something like that, there is this concern when people join, and it is quite subtle, but it is something to factor in if your target audience are senior level decision makers, C-levels, for example, is that they're less likely to show up for a Zoom because of the uncertainty around the format, i.e., are they gonna be asked to introduce themselves? Will people see them on camera? So the broadcast style events, on LinkedIn and Facebook, these are better because people can watch, and it's like watching Netflix. It's more of a broadcast with a live chat. And these can actually be a really simple way to engage people and follow up afterwards. So factor those in. In person will give you the highest sales impact. LinkedIn Live will give you a really good show up. Audio events will also do a good show up. They're relatively new though, so some people might be a little nervous about how it works because if I put the speaker on and start talking and all that kind of stuff. Off platform, obviously, if you go to Zoom, you will have a more quality experience, a more reliable experience, but a lot of people may be nervous about coming into a Zoom or an unfamiliar piece of technology because of that potential fear that they're gonna be put on the spot and they can't easily escape. I know we can all check out of Zoom, but some Zooms I've been to, it's like, "Let's all introduce ourselves." I'm like, I just came to check out what was going on." So, some people like the degree of anonymity you can have with, say, a LinkedIn Live or a YouTube Live versus a Zoom or a Teams. So, one of the big advantages of a LinkedIn event, of course, and I'm just gonna flick to my LinkedIn, so, just bear with me. Hopefully, you can see my screen still. And again, just guys, if you wanna have a chat about this or you want to copy the slides, I'm gonna show you a process you can follow in a second. And again, it might be a bit tricky showing it on screen. Oh, it might be a bit tricky showing it on screen, but if you wanna, drop me a line on LinkedIn or email us, I can send you a copy of it too. So, when you create an event, couple of things. You can invite your connections, right? So anybody, if you're connected to people, you can invite those connections to the event. So obviously, like I said at the beginning with that diagram, it's important you're growing your network. Connecting, content, because it builds trust, the engagement, and the LinkedIn event is part of your engagement strategy. It's part of your prospect engagement strategy so that you can have conversations and convert connections into offline conversations. So we've seen this work with large tech companies. We've seen it work in financial services. It works across the board because it's a human thing. People want to engage and learn more about something before they dive in and just jump in. So as we create our LinkedIn event, we have a choice. Do we do it on a profile or do we do it on a company page? I would advocate 110% you do it on your company page. So if I go to the company page here, I'll go to Maverick's company page. Let me just shut these chats down. And I go onto the company page. You'll see I've got a number of events that we're running, including a sales navigator event next Friday. So next Friday, I'm running this event. We haven't started promoting it yet. I'm the speaker, so I better accept that. We've got 3 attendees so far on this event next week. I'm sure you'll all want to come, and we'll check some of the settings to make sure the sound's perfect for next time. So when I go and create the event, I can invite my connections. So for an example, I'll just go on here now. I've got infinite scroll. Obviously, your connections should be your target audience. They shouldn't just be randoms. But most of my target audience are my connections. So I'm going to just show you quite quickly. Invite 160 people. Come on, LinkedIn. It would help if LinkedIn was working with me today, wouldn't it? I feel like I'm cursed today. So let me just see if it'll do it. Come on, LinkedIn. So LinkedIn will allow you to invite. Suddenly when I'm doing it on spec, it's not so great, but I'll just show you again and hopefully it'll work. Throw a few in. So evidently there's something wrong with LinkedIn's event feature today, which is great fun. But you can invite. Now you can invite up to 1,000 people per week, which is quite heavy duty. The success rate of invites is about 10%. Focused your network is, and the most your topic is, the more that you get signed up. So a 10% sign up rate, and you can invite up to 1,000 people a week. So if you invite 1,000 people, you're probably going to get roughly about 100 people sign up. Now, one of the advantages of doing an event on LinkedIn itself is when you create an event, I'll just show you here. When you create an event, you get a really cool feature on LinkedIn. So you cover header, the event format you want, the event name, the dates and times. Use the LinkedIn registration form. And if you've got a privacy policy, you can collect with LinkedIn. LinkedIn will collect the registration data, email addresses, etc. So you can send reminders. If you don't send reminders, you will get no people showing up. People will forget. And you have to do quite a few reminders to get people to come and give them a compelling reason to come. So you can't make an event that's just your sales pitch. It has to add some value. So in a second, I'm going to literally explain to you a format you could do for these events. There's quite a lot of work in terms of making sure that the process is ironed out. But to be honest with you, the big key element here is actually understanding pain points of your audience so that the right people decide to come. So if you don't do that, what happens is you get people who are curious but have no intent. And what you'll find if you have no intent, they will come, or they have intent for the wrong reasons. They will come and see no reason to talk to you down the road. So it's about really making sure that your event title and your event topic really connects to what you do and how you do it, but also connects to the challenges your customers face that you can solve. So this event we put on today is about LinkedIn events. So I'm teaching you about LinkedIn events, but also you're aware that we help train people, we help implement it, we help you fill these events. We do all of that strategy behind it to make sure you get conversations, you get calls with the decision makers that you. And we've done this with a number of tech companies. So you can see how this topic connects with what we do and our potential next stages. So it has to flow from the very beginning, from the title to the message in it, to the follow-up in it, to get the calls and get the right people. So how does it accelerate sales? Well, it's really simple. If you create the right title, the right structure, you invite the right people, and the whole process is geared to help people see you, how you can add value into their work, then actually what happens at the end is people want to talk to you. People want to and are open to booking calls. That's the reason why you're doing a LinkedIn event. Now, what many companies do, it's crazy, What they'll do is they'll create a LinkedIn event and then force or try to get the people who've signed up to sign up again on another website. That's a mistake. You will lose so many people in that process. It's better to use the LinkedIn form, capture the data, and then register people because they've already registered. Why would we try and make them register twice? It doesn't make sense. And the other mistake people make is simply they create the event, but don't really focus on organizing their whole company to drive people to it. So as a business, we will put on an event like this, and some of our team will invite too. It's a team effort. So we invite all our connections. There's a whole strategy behind putting these events on to help people and to also build our brand and generate business. But we don't have to push so hard because we're just giving information and people go, "Do you know what? I wanna do that. I wanna make that happen, and I wanna eliminate a lot of the uncertainty around it." That's why we do what we do. So here's a simple structure, and then I'll show you. In fact, I'll show you the process first. I'll show you the process, and then I'll walk you through a presentation. So just a quick recap. Why host a LinkedIn event? Live events still one of the most popular ways buyers engage with businesses. It just is. I know we might think, oh, we've been webinared to death and stuff like that. And to a degree, that's true, but people like to do it because they can study and learn. So that's really important. It's also a great way to showcase your expertise and build authority. When somebody watches you, you gain credibility, you gain a bit more trust from them. So doing a live event, scary, it's full of uncertainty, but actually you build trust, you build awareness. Of course, buyers are more open to follow up. Even the people who don't come, because you won't get 100% show up, even the people who don't come are more open to a conversation. And uh, just a reminder, sensitive buyers may prefer a broadcast event rather than kind of an interactive event. So it's really important to think through that. So, here's an interesting one. If if a C-level decision maker signs up for an event, they're actually more likely to respond to a DM follow-up on LinkedIn if they've come to your event or signed up for your event. You've got to focus your topic on the pain points you solve, so you attract people who resonate with the pain point. Because think about it, if I go, if I talk about a pain point, accelerating sales is a goal and our objective, so it means people coming want to accelerate sales. I know I can do that. I've done that. I've got a track record of doing that with LinkedIn. So if I can do that, if I can do webinars around this topic, people coming want to do that same thing. My objective and their objective align, and so my message and their objectives align. So that's why we do it around the pain points or the goals that people want to achieve. Massive amplification of personal brand. And if you're doing the events on the company page, just bear in mind, it's about 3% of all of your addressable market are actually looking to buy right now. 3%, right? So a chunk of people who come to your webinars, big chunk, the majority, in fact, are not gonna be ready to buy right now. That does not mean you dump them and say, "That was a waste of time." No, you nurture them. They might come to 2 or 3 or 4 things, but if you build your email list, you can nurture and add value to them so that when they are at that point where they want to make a decision, when they are starting to seriously consider a solution like yours, you're the first person they go to because they're in your list, you've been adding value. So you can build an email list very, very fast if you have a whole coordinated approach to LinkedIn events. So just to say, apologies that there was glitches with the audio earlier. Tech, eh? If you like a copy of the slides or the replay, the process chart I'm gonna show you in a second. If you want a copy of that, just drop us an email, or if you wanna chat to us about any of this stuff, feel free to drop us a line. Right. So here's roughly what would happen if you run a LinkedIn event. So I've simplified this process just for the benefit of the slide. If I tried to put it all on the slide, it'd get a bit complicated. But it's a simple process. We get our event up, obviously focus on the pain points and the target audience, make sure we've got a network of prospects connected. There's no point doing a webinar or a LinkedIn event if you haven't got the network to support it. You need the network to support it. So we do our invites, and like I said, each person can invite up to 1,000 people a week. I'll just say, by the way, I've never actually seen anybody be able to invite 1,000 in one go. You have to do it 3, 4, 5 times to make it work. So don't think you can just send 1,000 in one go. You might have to go in and invite 5, 6 times to get the 1,000 out. So you do all your invites, and if you're running an event and you want to run like a really a blowout, we set one event up every week. So we do an event every week. So we invite the week before for the week after. But if you wanted, if you had a smaller team, you could actually invite 6 weeks out, invite 6,000 people. Once you've done it, if assuming it's on a company page, you send reminders. You've got to send reminders. If people don't get reminders, they'll forget to show up, and then your webinar will have nobody on it. Then you've got the event day itself. So here's a simple structure to put your webinar together. Do it in an hour or less. Make sure you've got some slides, but don't hang to slides. And the reason I say don't hang to slides is so important that the people connect. If you don't connect with your audience, it'll feel a bit dull. So whilst I'm sharing slides, I'm not reliant on the slides, because then it becomes a bit robotic. It becomes a bit like, so our next step is to do this. We need to be more relaxed than that. So here's a simple structure. Start with obviously the intro, who you are and what they're gonna get from the webinar. Do all of that. Then I'd explain the problem and what people want to achieve. Then I'd explain the model. So I did this earlier and said, you know, we've got to build our networks. We've got to produce content because content builds trust. We've got to engage people. This is what the LinkedIn event is, engaging people. And then we've got to create conversation. So the LinkedIn event is the launch pad for the engagement. It helps you get the engagement. In other words, prospects open to talking, so you can get the conversion of connections to calls. So this is where I slot it in. It's not a marketing, it's a sales activity, but it feels like a marketing activity because there's no sales in it. It's about engaging an audience so that they go, yeah, I'll talk to them. Share the replay. Most important thing, make sure you share the replay with everybody who signed up, because a lot of people will watch it in their own time. A lot of people will watch it in their own time. And then proactive, but relational follow-up. So you don't have to forget that the webinar ever existed. Talk to them like about it. Ask them, what did they find? What were the key takeaways? Would they like to have a chat about it? Would they be open to a 15-minute meeting? Do the follow-up. Don't expect that people will just go, oh, I have to talk to them now just because of that. You still have to do the follow-up, but they're more receptive to the follow-up. That's the key. It's about this whole thing about LinkedIn events that I'm talking to you today is prospects are tough to get a hold of. Prospects are difficult to get them to engage with you and book a call. So we use a LinkedIn event as a bridge to bridge that gap, to break that ice, to make it easier for prospects and us to talk to each other, to make it easier for us to engage with our customers. We can't help everybody and we can't sell to everybody. What I do know is that it's so tough for in every industry to get a prospect to engage, and a LinkedIn event is just a tool to allow you to share value, insight, so that people go, "Why wouldn't I talk to Maverick? Why wouldn't I book a call with them? They might be able to help." So this is why LinkedIn events are really, ingenious in that sense, because you get to educate, market, and potentially tee up some sales. You still have to do the work of follow-up, you still have to do the work of, engaging people. You still have to do all of that stuff, but now it's a bit easier and it's a bit better it's a bit more successful. In fact, it's 3 times more successful because now you have a responsive audience. You have a pivot point, you have something to talk about. You've got talking points because you've done the webinar. So remember the structure: intro, an agenda, the problem and the objective, the model, and then any practical tips. And all the way through your event, your webinar, your LinkedIn event, you should be sharing stories and examples of how, why, and what this could do for a business. So we'll just flick to this is a little sheet we've got on some of the actions you need to take. Again, if you want to copy this, just drop us an email. But it's got the whole process of things you need to do. You have to be very proactive and very organized. If you're not organized, don't do this. It's a tough old gig, but it's very effective coming out the other side. But the one thing I wanted to just pivot to, I think it's this slide, is there is a whole machinery here of process. And the key to growing on LinkedIn, the key to growing a business, the key to hitting a pipeline or hitting your Q 3 and 4 and 2 targets is actually about process. It's about using LinkedIn in the right way, in the right place, and using the elements of LinkedIn in the right space so that you actually get responses from prospects. So LinkedIn events, how can they accelerate sales? They can drive higher engagement from your prospects. If you're organized, if you do the work, if you research, it will do it. And typically, this is the number of what works out of it. Assuming you do that process, and assuming you have the prospects in your network, this is what comes out the other side. So from 2,000 invites, which sounds a lot, it is, but it's like 2 weeks' work. Sorry, it's not 2 weeks' work, is it really? It's 20 minutes work in 40 minutes over 2 weeks. 40 minutes. 200 signups, you've got to do the reminders, that's a bit of work. 20 calls. Now, if you're selling 50 quid things, don't bother with this. It's probably not for you. If you're selling to, if you're selling 2,000, 5,000, 50,000, 100,000 pound services, where prospects are going to want to appraise things, study things, learn about things, they probably want to know who they're dealing with. They probably want to build some trust with you. This LinkedIn event is a great way to do it. And you'll pull out 20 calls. Most people do not need 20 customers in a month or a quarter. Most people need 2 or 3 really good clients in a month or a quarter. They don't need tons. But we do this process because we're mass educating our prospects. So the other advantage of this is, right, I see this all the time in sales teams. They're only prospecting people based on what's going to convert next week or next month. They're not operating that much ahead of themselves. They're basically looking at their feet. What LinkedIn events allows you to do is basically plan way ahead of time. So some people watching me today on the 17th of March, my wife's birthday, some people watching me today are not going to convert into a customer for me this week, next month. But in a year's time, they might be. So what I'm doing is I'm actually preparing my prospects way ahead of before I want to talk to them, because let's be honest, there's far more people registered on this today than I could possibly service as clients. There's way more than I could service. But some people in this are actually people who I could help maybe in a month's time or 2 months' time when they're ready, but also when I'm ready. So what I'm doing is I'm priming my pipeline for further down the road. So all the prospects I'm connected to on LinkedIn that I'd love to work with, some of them are not ready. I'm not ready for some of them. So I'm doing these events. I'm doing these LinkedIn events to help me educate them, prove my value, build a bit of digital rapport, as we call it, whilst I'm working on the people who are eager to talk right now. And it's such an easy way to do it. I'm just gonna scroll through the chat to see if there's any questions. Maybe one of the guys can spot that there in the chat. But LinkedIn events, it's ingenious if you use it in the right place in the sales process. I can't see the chat for some reason, which is really weird. Jackie's just asked about follow-ups. How many follow-ups? Um, Typically, we're quite gentle on the follow-ups from events. We'll offer calls, we'll offer free strategy sessions. If people don't bite, we put them into our newsletter after about 2, 3 follow-ups. Some people will do way more, but generally we'll do that. We'll put them into our email newsletter um, after about 2, 3 follow-ups. So, um, that's what I would be doing, not massive amounts of follow-up. You can do more, but we don't wanna kind of do it too aggressively 'cause, it's just our bag. That's how we do it. So follow-ups, I wouldn't be so aggressive on the follow-ups personally. I'll just um, see if there's anybody else asking any questions. I can't see any more. No, no, I can't see any more questions. So the wrap up, I'll give you a wrap up here. This is the plan, the schedule. This is just the overview of the process. If you want to have a copy of this, just drop us an email on screen. Send an email to us. Don't put your email in the chat. Drop us an email. We'll send you a copy of the slides, send you a copy of the replay. I know some of you had a little bit of an audio bit. And of course, if you want to chat to us about how we can help you really build out your sales process and build out a successful sales process on LinkedIn, drop us a line. We've got a couple of more questions. Here we go. Let me just, yes, please ask away. Gerald, Gerald, Gerald's asked a good question. First, Gerald, what they've done is they've put a landing area now. So some people have got a landing area where when you go in, instead of just going and it's there, you have to click another button. And it's tricking some of the broadcast software to trip itself up. So that's the first one. What am I using to stream? So this is actually Restream, but you can use OBS, you can use StreamYard. OBS is free, and to be honest with you, I think after my anxiety at the beginning today, I think we will go back to OBS, because as LinkedIn's rolled out some new features, the platforms, the streaming platforms have not kept up with it. So that new button that LinkedIn's put that I mentioned to Gerald actually trips the hurdle of the streaming, so it keeps going around in a loop. Who else we got here? Lisa. Lisa, what tech do you use to automate your follow-ups and emails? Right, good question. So let's just think about this separately, right? So Lisa's asked a really good question about follow-up. So we do something very different to most people. We don't automate the follow-up. We do it manually and human. The reason being is it's more successful. When you start to write an email for one person and send it, or you send it manually, I don't know why, can't explain why, it works better. But we see a better result when we humanly do it. Maybe it's just the email style, maybe it's just the way we write it, I don't know, but that's what we found. So follow-ups, we do manually. I know, manually. When it comes to, replay links or email, which is like after, so think about it after the webinar, there's a window where our team will follow up manually with people. After that, it goes into our email system where they would get, newsletters, tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff. But that first window after the webinar, the first 3 days after the webinar or LinkedIn event, it's human follow-up. So basically by Monday, we will have replied to everybody who asked for the slides. We'll have replied to everybody who's asked for a call or a strategy session. We'll have done all of that by Monday. But then the kind of auto follow-ups, the stuff that you put into your email sequences, that would kick in after Monday. Andrea, why set up it from the company page? Because on the company page, you get the data collection feature, which you don't have on the personal profile. Yes, Ibrahim, you have to focus on the problem and the goals or objectives. Think about it. We think about it, right? I see loads of great webinars on LinkedIn, but they don't actually speak to a need. So if you put a webinar on about a need or a goal or an objective, people sign up for it because they want to achieve that objective or they want to resolve that need. So we see like how could, loads of webinars about ChatGPT, but if they don't help you, if you don't sell anything to do with ChatGPT, it's probably useless. It's not useless because you'll build a bit of thought leadership and stuff like that, but you want to attract people to your webinar who have a need or have a desire to achieve something. Yes, Lisa, OBS is a free broadcast software. It's a bit more rudimentary, shall we say, than some of these slick ones like StreamYard, but it works. It kind of works all the time. Claire, is there a minimum value that it's worthwhile? I think you need to think about it. There's two ways to think about it, Claire, actually. The first way is to think about it if you've got large numbers and you're a bit more e-commerce, so just let's think about it as a process. You do a webinar, you get 200 people sign up, you do it, and you drive them to buy something that's low value or an e-commerce thing. There isn't a value in that because it's not just the initial sale, it's the email list, as long as it's targeted. So there is that element of it, of building brand and driving people to low value sales and building an email list. So there is that element of it. So I guess it depends on what you have to do to get the sale as to whether it's worth it. So if you were selling a £500 thing, for example, it might not be as productive to do manual follow-up afterwards. If you're selling a £50,000 thing, it's absolutely worth every penny to do the human follow-up. So you just have to kind of trade off effort to a reward ratio. And if you're hands-off in the follow-up, maybe it's worthwhile if you're selling something for like 400 or 500 quid. I don't think it's worth selling something like 50 quid or that way on. I don't think it's worthwhile from that point of view. Yes, Steve, thank you. Yes, do not put your email in the chat. Tony's just asked a question. If my network is predominantly filled with first people in my industry, then what's the best idea? Well, Tony, I went through this process about 3-4 years ago, and I had to brutally say, I don't want any competitors in my network. As much as I might have camaraderie with them, I'm using LinkedIn for business. I'm here to make money. You're here to make money. So there is that risk that if you fill your network with colleagues or competitors, that they're basically gonna, and I have this now, I have people who come leech on my events who are my competitors. I can't stop them, but I don't really want to encourage it either. So, it is a tricky one. I took the view of try to avoid connecting with people who could be competitors. Um, let's have a look. Samra, yes, so you can with Zapier connect your email registration to something else. So you can plug it in with Zapier to, any kind of email software using Zapier. Um, and yeah, you can on LinkedIn, and this is one of the features Gerald mentioned earlier. One of the changing features is that people can actually see the recording after the event on LinkedIn, and they can register after the event. So in other words, some people will find this event and go, "That was interesting." They can now click through and register at any given time and watch it at their own pace. So that's an interesting feature. How frequent do you need to plan? So Daniel, we do them every week. We've got about 4 or 5 different ones that we do, all LinkedIn and sales and marketing centric and helping people grow business, build pipeline. Just different angles or different emphasis or different features. And we will do one a week, and then we'll recycle. So we had a little break before Christmas, and then we decided, right, we're bringing them back, and we just recycle and do them. The great thing is, though, because I'm a bit more conversational in the way I do things, every event's a little bit different. So even though I'm probably using the same slides and talking about the same thing, I might emphasize a different thing. And the other thing that's really good about this as well is the Q&A, because the Q&A is where it really comes to life, because now I'm answering questions. Um, Giancomo, right, so there is a way, and we were doing this before Christmas, and it kept going wrong, but I think this it can be fixed, is you can go live on your personal page and share it on your company page. No, but you can do it the other way around. So inside things like StreamYard and Restream, you can actually link the company page and your profile together and go live to both of them at the same time. So you could invite people to your event on LinkedIn, on your company page, and actually go live to your profile at the same time. Um, Krishna, you'll always get DIYers. So people might not. If you've never been to one of my events before, I talk about DIYers, triers, and buyers. So Krishna's asked the question about what about if you get lots of DIYers? That's just the nature of the beast. People who want to do it themselves. The good thing is, the people who want to do it themselves will help you, and this is the trade-off. And guys, if you're a DIYer on this event, the trade-off here is you have to follow, like, and comment. Just if you got better from it, return the favor. But some people are triers. In other words, they want to do it themselves, but then when they get into it, they realize they don't have the mind for it, they don't have the time for it, and so they reach out. So I'm quite happy to have this in my events because they will amplify me. They will help, they will share, they will follow, they will comment, they'll tell other people. Excuse me. And that's the trade-off. The people who are triers are, "I wanna do it myself, but I'm gonna struggle to do it." So they come back and ask for our help. So they're great for us too. So DIYers have some value to you. Like, they build brands, they build credibility, they help you amplify your message. The final group is the buyers. And the problem is when you're doing an event like this, these people are not very vocal. They sit in the background, you don't know who they are, and they just message. They just drop an email and say, "Dean, I'm really serious about building my business on LinkedIn. I wanna take this seriously. Can you help?" And they just email in and do it. Very rarely are they in the chat. Very rarely are they, vocal or asking questions. They're just sat watching in the background, and they just drop an email and say, "I'm serious. How can you help me?" Um, Daniel, we do them weekly. So this I've not done this one before. So it was great fun that we had some glitches with it, because it really kind of knocks you a little bit when you get going. It's new material or new information you want to put out, new slides, and you have a few glitches. But we'll do events weekly, so every week. When should follow-up start? Some people would argue the same day. I think that's a bit pushy, but basically the next day, I would say, is the best. The buzz or the openness to follow up after the webinar is pretty much gone after about 3-4 days. So this is on a Friday. This is a new format for us, doing it on a Friday. We'll be following up all the people who engage with us today. So anybody who sent an email will get a follow-up today. Anybody who the weekend will send a follow-up email, and if they book in, they'll be done by Monday. Because once we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the kind of motivations worn off a little bit. Yeah, it's a tough one. If you've got good mates in the industry, Tony, it feels a bit awkward to cut them out. I made the decision a long time ago to do it, just because of that. Sue's asked a question. Really what my colleagues in my network, I've been invited to events, had to spend a bit of time just picking people who are relevant. Yeah, that's one of the natures of the beast, really, Sue, to be honest with you. If you've got people who you kind of don't want there, but you don't want to get rid of them either, or remove them, you have to be a bit more picky. It's a tough one. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for that. Can Charles ask, do different countries have different responses towards LinkedIn events? Probably. I found people coming. I mean, today's event has had people from all over the world. We've got some US people, some UK, European, UAE. So we've got people from all over on today. So yeah. And Krista, yeah, thank you. Look, guys, I'm going to sign off because I need a drink. I've been talking for nearly an hour. If you want some help with this, drop us a line. If you want to copy the slides, email us. We'll send them to you today. And if you need you want to take it seriously and you want Maverick to help you, we've got some coaching, we've got some courses, we've got some help. Some of our team who do our events can help you get it full. So drop us a line and we'll help you if we can. For those of you watching in the distance, you will get a follow-up on Monday with some more details, but anybody who emails today will get the slides and replay. And just to say thank you for bearing with the audio issues. DIYers, if you're watching this, the trade-off is I've helped you as much as I can. I've asked questions. You're going to go do it yourself. So the least we can get is a follow for the company page, a like and a comment, and come and engage with me on LinkedIn. That's the trade-off, right? So thank you so much for joining us. We're back next week with a Sales Navigator webinar. We'll check all the tech and make sure we don't have the same glitch. But I'll see you next week, same time. Go sign up for it, and we'll dig into Sales Nav.
Dean's strategy helped me find clients. I created clients for my business with this program. It works.
My connections have grown, my reach has grown, my views have grown, and actually so has my business revenue. Over that 3-month period, I have actually signed up 3 new clients at a cost of £50,000. That's over just the 3-month period. So it's worth it.
Every single time there's a session, I just feel like it's just a golden moment. Every single session brings me something really new and really valuable, and I've started to attract high value client sales, which is wonderful, and it's really given our business a boost.
Dean Seddon and the Maverick team, what can I say? Apart from absolutely awesome.
The results have been amazing. We have had loads of incoming leads coming into our lead funnels and workflow processes on our website, and we've also built a really successful community around the content that we produce and push out into our LinkedIn channels. My team has also learned a lot from working with the team at Maverick, and they've also helped us really create fantastic events on LinkedIn.
I'm much more confident, and all of that, without a shadow of doubt, is down to the work and the training and support I've had from Dean and the rest of his team as part of the Accelerator course.
In terms of the training, Maverick have been absolutely fantastic. They've been so supportive. They've talked me through all the stages of what you have to do, why you have to do it, the benefits of doing it the way they tell us to do it. And I've gone from being with no social media to being actually addicted, because I can see what this can do for lead generation, generating new business. It's just been incredible, and Maverick have been superb throughout the whole process.
The guys at Maverick, they've been great. Dean and his team, very knowledgeable, wealth of experience, and we've had quite a few one-to-ones now that really taught us the depths, the nooks and crannies of LinkedIn, which none of us would have known before, and I think we can continue to use that going forward, and it's been great so far, and I hope to continue to use it as well.